Bad news, Canelo Alvarez does not mention David Benavidez, says he wants guys at 68 with titles, and he will hurt Gennady Golovkin. He has nothing to prove, but if they fought again, he thinks he could stop him. We're going to talk about all that and more. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest. Let's jump right in the mix. Ring Magazine, owned by Golden Boy. Ring exclusive. Canelo Alvarez maps out his plans for 2021. Now, Eddie Reynoso's stable just got back-to-back victories. Canelo destroyed Callum Smith. He made it look easy. Congrats to him. And then Ryan Garcia just got his European British fighter out of there with a nasty liver shot. Canelo says, and I quote in this exclusive, "I've worked hard for this, and it's a great situation to be in," Alvarez said during the conversation with The Ring during the Christmas holiday, right? It's a pretty simple plan for 2021. Fight for all the belts at 168. Fight 3 times, maybe even 4. We'll see. He goes on to say, I want to take the titles at 168, right? Want to take the titles at 168. My goal is to fight anyone at 68 if they have a title. That's who I'm going after. The goal is February, May, and September. That's our goal for 2021. Canelo made this point emphatic. If Golovkin wants a third fight, he would have to come up to face him at 168. Golovkin is a very large middleweight, and it would not be a stretch physically. The two fought to a draw, blah, blah, blah. Alvarez has been that overpowering. Besides, Canelo feels, what else is there to prove against Triple G? This is a direct quote from Canelo Alvarez. You guys will see it on the screen. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I did my job already by beating him twice, referring to Golovkin, even though the first fight was officially ruled a draw, and some people believe that Golovkin, including me, I thought Golovkin won the first fight, and I was there. It says, right now, I want to stay at 168. If Triple G wants to move up, then we'll see what happens. If that's what the fans really want. I'm at 168 pounds, and I don't have to do any favors for anyone. I'm at 168, and our goal is to unify here. I feel good right now. I feel strong. I feel like I'm at my peak, and I continue working hard. If a fight happens a third time with Triple G, I feel so good that I could most likely knock him out and do some serious damage, right? The article continues. It says, Canelo maintains that he's always been that way. He realizes media obligations are part of the business. In the past, it could be with the old promoter that I had. Maybe they have said some things about me that weren't true, false statements about the way I was, about my character. But I always showed love and respect to the media and my fans, Canelo said. We all work together, the media, the fans, to make fights. I love my fans, right? Alvarez trainer Eddie, he says that we're independent. We could talk to anyone we want right now. We have some great plans for the future. The plan is to fight our mandatory in February and then fight again in May and September. Maybe we'll look at Saunders down the line and then plan. Our goal is to be the first unified Mexican super middleweight champion. We want to unify all the titles and fight the best 168 pounders out there. Triple G is fighting at 60, but our goal is to fight at 168. Benavidez is a good fighter, but the only thing about him is that he does not have a belt, right? But neither does Avni Yildirim. So that makes no sense. And realistically, if we really want to play this game, Avni Yildirim lost to Anthony Durrell via stoppage, and Anthony Durrell, his fight after, fought David Benavidez and was stopped by David Benavidez. So please don't tell me about, oh, Yildirim's a mandatory and he's ranked. They make and bend the rules for Canelo Alvarez and let him do what he needs to do and what he wants to do. And they said he was a franchise champion. So how do you go from franchise champion to not having a mandatory of Jermall Charlo, an African-American fighter, which would be a great fight, to now all of a sudden he has mandatories again, right? And now they're saying Team Canelo says Benavidez is good, but the only thing is he doesn't have a belt. He lost his belt twice, one because of cocaine, one because of technicality. In a pandemic, he missed weight. You know, to me, this is just a bad look for Canelo's team, because we all know that when David Benavidez had the belt, we didn't see Canelo mention David Benavidez like that, right? He also goes on to say he has accomplished a lot in his career, but Canelo is all about winning all the belts. We also don't know if Benavidez can make 168 anymore. There is no purpose to fight him right now. There you have it. So they said there's no reason to fight him, but it's a great fight. But then they say Triple G can come up and fight at 168. It looks like he can make 160 comfortable. Now, I know that's going to make a lot of the man fans angry, but listen to what was just told to you. I'm not the smartest brother in the world, but Team Canelo, I have it highlighted on the screen so you guys can all see it. Team Canelo, they're playing games. It says, quote, let's revisit. Benavidez, David Benavidez, who was a two-time super middleweight champion that lost his belts not because of a fighter beat him, but poor choices that he made. You know, I give him that. Cocaine in his system, against the rule. He repented. He said he was sorry, came back, won the title against a guy who beat Avni Yildirim, Anthony Durrell, and Benavidez looked good in that fight. You know, I thought he was getting outboxed by Durrell, but then he turned it all around. They said Benavidez is a good fighter, but the only thing about him is he does not have a belt. We also don't know if Benavidez can reach 168 pounds anymore. Once again, it's not up to you to decipher if David Benavidez can make 168. To Canelo and Team Canelo and Eddie Reynoso. He's training in Big Bear right now. I follow him on social media. If he hasn't said anything about moving to 175, then I'm going to take that into consideration. If he says I can't make weight, you know, it's absolutely too much of a struggle, then we could take it from there. But I haven't once heard anything from Jose Benavidez, his dad, or not Jose, but actually I think his dad's name Jose too. Yeah. So I haven't heard, the bottom line, I ain't heard nothing from Team Benavidez that said he can't make super middleweight. They said he's a good fighter, but we don't know if he can make 168. That's a cop-out. There is no purpose to fight him right now. Listen to this article, people. Benavidez is a good fighter. They're admitting he's a good fighter. I have it highlighted on the screen for you, but he does not have a belt. Then they say we don't know if he can make 168 anymore, which we haven't heard Team Benavidez say they can't make 168. We all know, as I just depicted, that he was a two-time champion at super middleweight with the WBC belt, that they're now fighting a WBC mandatory, and that got thrown into the mix fighting Callum Smith. He says, so there's no purpose to fight him right now. But then right after they say Triple G can fight at 168, even though it looks like he can make 160 comfortably. So they're saying Triple G can make 160 comfortably, but we'll entertain a Triple G3 fight at 168. Slow it down. I just dissed you. The problem with that is you just said Benavidez is a good fighter, but you don't know if he can make the weight. But there's no purpose to fight him because you're after unifying and you want all the titles at 168. So if Triple G, who you just said he could still make 160, guess what? If he moves to 168, he has no fights at 168 in recent memory, maybe even ever, and he also would have no belt. So how can you discount David Benavidez and say there's no point to fight him, even though you just admitted he's a good fighter, but he don't have a belt? But then the follow-up sentence is that Triple G can come up and you can fight him. And if he moves from 160, first of all, he has the IBF belt at middleweight. You've been caught. IBF belt at middleweight. That means nothing. That doesn't amount to a hill of beans if he moves up to 168. So you could fight a guy you fought, and Canelo, earlier in this article, mind you, Canelo said, I beat Triple G. I have nothing to prove with him. You know, I feel like I beat him twice. I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I did my job already beating him being Triple G twice. So Canelo in his mind feels like he'll stop him, and he beat Triple G twice in his mind. Why would you even entertain a Triple G fight who also has no belt at 168? See, this is what happens. The most dangerous thing is a camera and a microphone. Says if he wants to stay there, that's fine. That's his choice. But if Triple G or Charlo wants to come up and fight at 168, that's fine too. Once again, neither guy has a belt. So why can't you fight David Benavidez, but Triple G or Charlo can come up and they have no belt either? It says we have no problem fighting anyone. Okay, but you just said you don't want to fight David Benavidez because he don't have a belt. But then Triple G, nobody wants to see that fight that I know. And he don't have a belt at 68, nor does Jermall Charlo. Then to make that even more effed up, Canelo is on record saying he is willing to go to 160 for a welterweight, Errol Spence. So there's a lot to unpack. I'll leave you guys with that. It's not a good look, bro. It's not a good look. You admit David Benavidez is a good fighter. You say you already beat Triple G twice, but you say you'll entertain and see what happens in terms of fighting Gennady Golovkin, a fight we've already seen Canelo and Triple G for 24 rounds because both fights went the distance. We've already seen that 24 rounds. So you have no problem fighting Average Pilgrim or whoever that dude is who lost to the guy that Benavidez beat, right? Lost to Anthony Dirrell, and then his next fight, Dirrell fought Benavidez, and Benavidez stopped him to reclaim the title. We didn't see this energy when Benavidez had the belt, and then now you're saying it don't really make sense to fight Benavidez. This could be Canelo's Canelo, and what I mean by that is Floyd Mayweather was actually older than Canelo is right now, right? And Floyd Mayweather fought a youthful Canelo Alvarez in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. He fought a youthful Canelo Alvarez and showed his dominance. So Floyd Mayweather showed that Canelo wasn't, the one. He wasn't the one to beat him. You get what I'm saying? So Canelo Alvarez was the up-and-coming stud, and he was undefeated, and he was 23 years old. Floyd was about 36. And Floyd showed that he was levels above the 23-year-old when they fought. That's Canelo and his brother, right? And now David Benavidez is probably the same age, 23. I think he might be 24 years old. And you're not even as old as Floyd Mayweather was when he fought you, because Canelo's only 30. So the age discrepancy isn't even as great. And you're on record saying you'll hurt and whoop Golovkin. But why not fight David Benavidez? That's what I'm saying. So that could be Canelo's Canelo. The up-and-coming 23-year-old, 24-year-old David Benavidez showed that you're on a different level, And it really makes no sense, the justification for not fighting Benavidez by saying he don't have a belt. But Jermall Charlo don't have a belt, and that's a fight I would love to see. But they want to fight Jermall Charlo, I guess, at 168. I haven't really seen a real hunger to fight Jermall Charlo, but either way, he's a guy with no experience at 68. You see what I'm saying? He's a guy who hasn't fought at the 68. He's a great fighter, hasn't fought at the 68. So you can see the strategy here, the strategy being implored. David Benavidez has fought at 168. You're saying, oh, we don't know if he can make weight. David Benavidez is calling you out. He's not saying he can't make weight. He is calling Canelo out, though. So, you can say whatever you want, but this is, to me, a bad look. Look, he's calling you out. Why is he calling you out if he can't make weight? This is just 2 weeks ago. Look, and I commented. I said, I need this bad. He said, this is the fight y'all really want to see. I will go through anybody to get Canelo if that's what needs to be done. I'll be ready when the opportunity comes, and I guarantee to make it a war. So this is what Benavidez is saying, but Canelo's team is saying, oh, it doesn't make sense because he don't have a belt, playing the semantics game. Oh, I don't know if he can make weight, but he's calling you out. So I don't think him or his dad are worried that they can't make weight. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if they felt they couldn't make weight, they probably wouldn't call you out. So, I think this is an interview. This is an interview. It says, we want that Canelo fight. The fans want the Canelo fight. Let's make the best possible fight at 68 happen. So they're down. They're not saying they can't make weight. All in all, you guys can say what you want, but I think this is going to hurt Canelo's brand because the movement is easy. You'll fight Billy Joe Saunders, but what about David Benavidez and his whole family, his dad, his coach? They're all calling you out and saying that they want the fight. They're down. And you're saying, oh, we don't know if he can make weight. Oh, he don't have a belt. But they're calling you out. They're not worried about making weight. They obviously think they can beat you or make a competitive fight, because why would they keep calling you out? This is his dad's page, his trainer. So, you know, I think people see the games. Let me know what you guys think. Also, smash the like button, hit the bell notification alerts to be updated on my videos. Outside of that, use my link ESPN Plus, $5.99 a month, or get the bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all 3 apps, for one low price of $12.99. Disney Plus got a monster schedule they announced, and The Mandalorian's back. A lot of you guys are checking for that. So let me know what you guys think of Canelo's team saying Golovkin could get smoked, but really not David Benavidez. And again, the other thing is Golovkin hasn't really looked great. Even in the Camille Sesmeta fight, he was winning and all that, but he looked slow. His breathing was heavy. He didn't decimate a guy with no power in the first couple of rounds, a guy who really wasn't on his level. And you're saying he can move up to 68 with no belt and fight, but a beltless David Benavidez doesn't make sense, when again, a beltless David Benavidez could be your Canelo to Mayweather, and you could show us a great, and see, this is the other thing. Canelo wants to fight on the quote unquote Mexican dates, but he don't want to fight a Spanish speaking Mexican American and David Benavidez on the Mexican dates. Isn't that a bit weird? Isn't that a bit weird? Julio Cesar Chavez was a fighter, great fighter, senior. Julio Cesar Chavez, great fighter, who fought his Mexican American contemporary Oscar De La Hoya on one of those dates. I think it might have been September. I mean, you could look it up, you know, you could look it up and find this information. So why not Canelo? Like, especially, wouldn't that be even more festive to have a guy from Mexico, Guadalajara, Spanish speaking, 2 action styles, 2 guys who can scrap, you know? Look, here it is. This one was in September, told you. September 18th, 1998, Julio Cesar Chavez. He fought Julio Cesar Chavez. And the first one was in a month after May. But I knew one of them was, you know, Mexican Independence Day weekend. And this was the Mexican American. So it's not looking good. And so Canelo is strategically kind of moving around, and he feels like he has earned this or whatever. And the last thing to the racists and the bigots that watch the channel, the funny thing is, a lot of the racists that you see, the racist fans and the bigoted fans, they said this is what they hated about Floyd. They said Floyd was a cherry picker and he was strategically waiting for guys to get old. So why fight the 38-year-old Golovkin, or even entertain that, or a 30-some-odd-year-old Billy Joe Saunders? You know, fights. Billy Joe's don't. There's no way anyone can convince me Billy Joe has a more exciting style than David effing Benavidez. You know what I mean? So why would you go after the guy you claim you already beat twice? You know, why would you even entertain that fight and entertain British fighters? But there's a Mexican American, David Benavidez, and his pops and him keep calling you out, and you saying, oh, he don't have a belt though, right? Callum Smith really should have lost his belt in his fight right before Canelo against John Ryder. Golovkin doesn't have a belt at 68, and he should have lost 2 fights ago to Derevyanchenko. You know, the walls are closing in on Canelo Alvarez. If you can't see it at this point, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, it is what it is, but the walls are definitely closing in. Billy Joe Saunders also, look at who he's fought at 168. He fought she fat, he thick, or whoever, and this is who they want to unify with, you know, as opposed to just making the best fights. I thought a belt doesn't define Canelo. I thought he's a franchise champion. So many questions. Let me know what you guys think. Bad news. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, Ego sign off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.